Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a delightful day. I'm excited because I actually have some natural light to film. I feel like for the past several weeks I have needed to use my ring light and today I'm not even using it. I have some light, hooray! It's finally not as gloomy outside. It's been snowing a lot. How about where you live? I hope everyone is safe and okay. Today I'll be going through and reviewing a bunch of the new products that have been coming into my collection. I have a lot of things to talk about today just because of the time of year. This is the time of year when I tend to buy the most stuff, so I have been happily testing products and I have some opinions. I'm ready to share them with you. Today's tea of the day is my second matcha latte of the day because it's just the time of year when I can't blame it on the time of year. I was gonna say it's the time of year where I want to. No, I pretty much always want 2 matcha lattes. If my face is in a different spot now, just now when I tasted my matcha, I realized it was kind of cold and I wanted to quick heat it up before I got started filming. So I had a nice hot latte before I got started. I have a lot of eye products to talk about today, so maybe I should talk about lip stuff first and get that out of the way. So this came in my FabFitFun box. This is one of the very beautiful Hourglass lipsticks. I was sent the shade If Only, or actually I think I picked the shade If Only. I like it a lot. It's a very heavy component. It feels very luxe and just like the very slim lipstick packaging. I am a fan. I also do like how these lipsticks are refillable. You can buy different colors, click it in here, and then be able to reuse this beautiful packaging. Unfortunately, I think that this color, it's just too bright for me. When I chose it, it looked a little bit less bright. And while I have tried it a few times on my lips, each time I paired it with a lip liner to kind of tone down how pink it was. So I've been contemplating what I'm going to do with this because I think it's so beautiful, but it's brand new. And I just know that if I keep it in my collection, I will reach for it maybe a couple times a year. And I feel like that is such a waste for such a beautiful product. So I think I'm actually gonna put this in my little declutter pile. So you guys will probably see this again. I do have another declutter pile going and I'll probably do a video about it in the beginning of January. But I think I have a friend that would like this better than me. So sadly, the color didn't work for me. I did like the formula. It was kind of a more long-lasting satin formula versus other not long-lasting like cream formulas. I did like how it lasted. Just not the right shade for me. Something, however, that I initially bought to use as a blush, but I absolutely love on my lips. It's from Nudestix. So this is the Lip and Cheek Pencil in the shade Mystic. So this shade, definitely more up my alley, which it's kind of like a pinky mauve. I was so surprised by how much I loved this on my lips. I felt like it was very lightweight, but it had a lot of pigment. It was comfortable, but it didn't wear off right away. I thought it had a really good wear time, even though it's not like a liquid lipstick or anything like that. So this I was very, very pleased with. And instead of it going in my blush drawer, which I did try it as blush, and I thought it was fine, but I infinitely preferred it as a lipstick. So this is gonna be going with my lipsticks. I have been wanting to try one of these Kaleidos Cloud Lab lip clays ever since they released last year, maybe the year before. I feel like this formula has been out for a long time and I'm finally trying it. It is a very unique formula. So I have the shade Dune, which is kind of a warm nude color. It's a little deeper than I was expecting, but that's okay. Sometimes with nude, if it's a little too light, it really washes me out. So this color works well for me. So again, with the formula, very, very different. It feels almost like a cream to powder, which I've never used anything like that on my lips before. You rub your lips together and you're like, okay, yep, feels nice and creamy. But just kind of sitting on your lips, it feels kind of powdery and not in an uncomfortable way, just different than anything I've worn before. And this is another product that I felt like lasted really well. I love finding unique lip formulas like this, and Kaleidos really did well with this. Honestly, all the lip formulas they've tried out over the years, I've liked every single one of them. They just keep discontinuing them. So I don't think they'll be doing that with this. They keep coming out with more collections. Seems like they have found the formula they want to stick with, which I do really enjoy it. Does this one have a scent? Yeah, kind of a sweet scent, but nothing too much. I would definitely try other colors. The packaging feels nice too. It's like a soft matte. Okay, let's get into eye products. So I did tell you guys when I hauled a bunch of this that a lot of these things I saved up my YouTube money for, and I definitely splurged in buying things that I normally wouldn't have let myself purchase. And I view them very much as goodies from you guys since it was my YouTube money. So thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Without you guys watching and me getting YouTube revenue, I wouldn't be able to have got these things for myself. So so thank you so much. I wanted to say that before I got into reviewing these things. Let's talk about what I'm wearing on my eyes today. So this is a single shadow from Dior, and this is in the shade Beige Mitzah. Now I did pair it with this Rimmel Wonder Cloud in the shade Foggy Beige today, so this is what I kind of put through my crease, and then I just used my finger to blend this shadow out all over my lid. So that is what it looks like. I think it's absolutely beautiful, very, very luxe feeling, to be honest. So the formula feels like almost like a cream. Even though it is a powder formula, it feels kind of wet and gel-like, at least I think so when I swatch it, and it is very, very creamy and blendy. Oh, it's so, so beautiful. So while I really enjoy how creamy it is, how easy it is to apply just with fingers, it does tend to crease a bit on me, and it's because it's such a beautiful creamy formula. Creamy formulas like this do tend to crease on me. So I've been treating it kind of like I would a cream shadow, even though it's a powder, by pairing it with another cream shadow that dries down in my crease. That way this one lasts longer. So if you're someone who also bears with or deals with creasing like me, that is something to keep in mind. This shade, by the way, very, very close to Charlotte Tilbury Oyster Pearl, Tom Ford Platinum, and also the Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade High Roller. I'm gonna quick swatch them next so you can see. All right, so here we have them all swatched. So here on top is Dior Beige Mitzah. This is Maybelline High Roller. This is Charlotte Tilbury Oyster Pearl, and this is Tom Ford Platinum. So you guys can see that I obviously have a type that I go for when it comes to these type of single eyeshadows. There are minute differences between all of them. I think of all of them, Dior might have a little bit more pink. The Maybelline has a little bit more gold. Oyster Pearl from Charlotte Tilbury and Platinum from Tom Ford I find to be very similar. But of them all, I would say that Beige Mitzah has the highest reflect. It is definitely the most metallic. So I hope those swatches are helpful. So needless to say, I really enjoy it. I do wish it didn't crease like it does on me, but like I said, I can fix that by pairing that with other things underneath of it. So it's not quite perfect because of the creasing, but it's pretty great. I picked up another single shadow, and this one, it really breaks my heart because it was so expensive and I had such high hopes for it. So this is from Surratt, and this is the lid lacquer in the shade Kogecha, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but that is what that looks like. So I blame myself for not doing enough proper research on this. I thought it would be a cream eyeshadow that just looked highly glossy, but it's an actual gloss for your lids. It is absolutely stunning. So I think I'm gonna put up on the screen somewhere the video I saw of a makeup artist using this exact product and why I bought it. Her name is Andrea Ali, and the thing is, she has a much different eye shape than me. When I wear something like this, it creases almost instantly, and it's so sad because it has the most beautiful finish on it. Like, you can see how kind of glossy looking it is. It blends out very, very easily with my fingers. I just tap it onto my lid, blend it out onto my crease, and it looks good for maybe 3 minutes, and then it all gathers in my crease. And it does say afterward, when I looked it up, I was like, hey, this really creases bad, but it says on the Surratt website, if you have oily lids or hooded eyes, you may experience creasing. Just tap it out and it will look just as nice. Well, it taps out easily because it's so emollient, but then it goes right back to being creased. This is the worst creasing product I have ever tried, and it's so sad because it was so expensive and it is so beautiful. So I have tried various ways of making this work. The way I made it last the longest was pairing it with, I think is with the MAC paint pot. So like an eye primer that's a little bit more dry, not quite so creamy, but it's still creased. So I think I need to find a friend that has a nice round eye shape that doesn't have hooded eyes and hopefully doesn't have oily lids. Just because I was going to return this, I realized that I must have thrown away like the return slip, and it is so pretty. I would love to find someone that this would work for. So that was a big, sad, major fail. Something that I really like. So obviously these are getting discontinued. They are sold out everywhere, and wherever they are still available, they're 50% off, and that's why I managed to grab mine. So from Tom Ford, this is the cream and powder eye color in the shade Golden Peach. I think I like the cream formula of this one even better than the Charlotte Tilbury. I find it to be a little bit easier to work with. That is what the cream shadow looks like by itself. Very much a color I can wear. And then it has a little topper here that kind of brings it to the next level. So that's what it looks like with the topper. So I have worn this and I love it. I don't want to go on and on about it because it's being discontinued apparently, but I'm happy. I managed to get it into my collection before it disappeared forever. This is the sort of thing I can wear every single day, and I find it very easy to just slap on with my fingers. So this made me happy. It was a win. Okay, so that's it for single shadows. Let's move into some eyeshadow palettes. So let's start with Kaleidos first. So this was released at the beginning of this year, I think, and I tried to talk myself out of it all year, and I caved at the end of the year. I was like, I love Kaleidos shadows so much. I wanted to try their neutrals. So this is the Cold Brew quad. So it just has 3 cool tone browns and then a beautiful, very, very sparkly topper shade. Quick swatch these for you. Okay, so there we have some swatches. Of course, I did it as awkwardly as possible. I'm not sure why I did it like that, but I do have a picture of myself wearing this, and I will put that up. I think I actually have a video. I was trying to get the sparkle on my eyelids, so I was doing the whole thing. Yeah, I'll make sure that goes up. But this is beautiful. I think this might have my favorite matte formula out of all the Kaleidos palettes I've tried. I've always liked their mattes, but these neutrals are so creamy, easy to blend, and they're very pigmented. They layer very well on top of each other. And in fact, this dark brown is very dark. I found that in order to get a smoky eye, I didn't even need to use this one. This one layered so well on top of itself that I got a smoky eye just using that one, and I ended up using this one as more of a liner. The sparkly shade is so sparkly. It's just that excellent light catching quality that makes your eyelids look super, super glossy and wet. This is a formula Kaleidos has in, I think, almost all the palettes I've tried from them, and I love that they put it in this quad. If you like neutrals, if you like a cool, smoky look, you'll like this one too. I do feel like it feels nicer than I was thinking. It just looks nicer in person than what I thought, so very, very pleased with this. And then I tried one more palette from Kaleidos, and this one has been out for a while, and I just hadn't added to my collection yet. So this is the Futurism 7 Sashimi City. Like I said, I really wanted to try out neutrals from Kaleidos. And yep, I'm a fan. I'll put up some eye looks I was trying to get. I have some terrible selfies of myself. I was trying to like lean my head in a certain way to like properly show the sparkle on my eyelids, because these shades here, absolutely stunning. They're that same super wet, glossy formula that I love so much. So here's swatches. Look at the glorious topper shades. Like when you can barely see them, they have kind of a transparent base, but when they hit the light, you get all those super amazing micro sparkles, and it's so, so fun to wear on the eyelid. I think the reason why I held off buying this for so long is because it's a very warm toned neutral palette, which for a while I only wanted cool tones, but now I get in the mood where I want warm tones sometimes, and I really, really enjoyed wearing this palette. The mattes, creamy and blendable as per usual with Kaleidos. And just because of my eyeshadow preferences, I'm thinking that these neutral palettes from Kaleidos will probably be the ones I reach for the most out of my Kaleidos collection. I picked up a couple of Lorac palettes. I am ready to review one of them. The next one will have to be for another review video. The Fairytale Forest palette. So I was so thrilled to finally get this into my collection. I've been waiting for it to go on sale all year, and it finally did for like one day, and I managed to snag it. This is one of those that kind of sells the fantasy of makeup, I feel like, because not only are the colors, again, there's lots of those gorgeous sparkly topper shades in here. They're not at the level of Kaleidos toppers. I'm just gonna put that out there, but they are absolutely beautiful, and I feel like they really killed it with the shade names. It comes with a little paper, and I just keep it kind of stuck in the palette. So this palette is one of their pro palettes, which means that it opens like this, and then it has where you can pop the shadows out and rearrange them how you want. So I kind of stick the names of the shades back there, but anyway, the names of the shades are names like Wildflower, Evergreen, Butterfly, Enchanted, North Star, Folklore, like the fantasy of makeup. Like they really did a good job, not just with the shades, but naming the shades in this palette. Let me get some swatches for you. Okay, I swatched a few of the mattes here, and then I think I got all of the shimmers and sparkly shades. So looking at it swatched out like that, it is very, very beautiful, and there is a combination of topper shades and then a metallic formula. Sadly, the metallic formula is not the same one as the Lorac Unzipped. I was really hoping that they would have that metallic formula in this palette. It's not. It's a bit more stiff. They perform fine, but it's not my favorite metallic formula I've ever tried. However, this topper formula made me so happy. These kind of sparkly topper shades, they really bring eye looks to the next level, I feel, if you're wanting something just extra and fun. They are very beautiful. I do have an eye look where I wore this green down here. I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it up on the screen. I thought this was a nice neutral palette with a couple pops of fun colors in there. The mattes perform like typical Lorac mattes. They're kind of powdery, but they perform very well. They blend very well. All in all, I'm very pleased. I do think this palette could have one more deeper shade. This shade down here, which I swatched here, is the deepest shade in the palette, which is usually fine for someone like me. But I oddly noticed that I felt like this palette could have just a little bit more depth in it. A couple of these metallics down here are all very similar, so I felt like they could have added another matte or two. But it's a beautiful everyday palette with some very nice sparkly shades in it, and it's right up my alley, so yeah, I'm happy with it. One more palette. So I tried out the Beauty Bay neutral palette. I did a whole video swatching this whole thing out for you guys. I can put that in the description box. This was my first time trying the Beauty Bay formula, and I was very impressed. I didn't realize the Beauty Bay formula was so affordable. This was, I think, $13. I love the matte formula. It's very creamy, very easy to blend. And I found these couple of shades up here I reached for when, say I was pulling a cream shadow from my stash that I just needed a matte to throw in my crease. This is one of the palettes that I have been reaching for a nice neutral, super blendable matte, but especially these two shades here. So the matte's probably my favorite thing. I really liked it. And as for the shimmers, there were a few different formulas in this palette. This one here is like a squishy, like a Super Shock shadow. You can see I've already got a big dip going in there. I loved getting a little bit of that and just tapping it over the top of my eye look. It was kind of transformative and it made it extra beautiful. I found the metallic formula to be very creamy as well. And so I did get a comment from someone asking about wear time. Same as kind of like with the Dior. I mean, obviously different formula, but just like these are creamy, the Dior is creamy. I did find that I needed to make sure and wear eye primer, or they did crease on me, or they did wear away a little bit. But wearing an eye primer, I was happy with the wear time. This is just an ultra wearable palette. Like I would wear every single shade in here, which is not always the case with palettes. And I think my favorite shade actually ended up being this one called Lock It. I remember when I swatched it in the video, it didn't turn out to be looking that special, but it's that beautiful kind of peachy tone that I absolutely love wearing with my color of eyes. Let's see if I can. And this was another kind of transforming shade. It looks kind of boring there, doesn't it? But I really liked it pairing it with the mattes. I thought it was just beautiful. I'm pretty happy with this. This is one I'll have no problem reaching for. All right, that's the stuff I was ready to review. If you made it through the video, thank you so much for sitting through the whole thing. I know I'm not the only one reviewing new stuff to our collections this time of year. Make sure and let us all know. Comment section, what have you been trying lately? What did you think of your products? Have you tried any of these things? What did you think of them? Make sure and let us know down in the comments. I love to hear your guys' reviews. And if you have anything else for me to try with that Surratt lid lacquer, I feel like I've tried all the things to make it stay on my eyes. But if you have any other suggestions, please let me know. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye.